Welcome back to Creepy Crawler's Garage and another daily update. And we've been working through a checklist of things that need to be completed for the TRX project. And we've knocked a few more of those items off, plus a little extra. So take a minute, sit through this opener, and I'll meet you in the garage on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Let's start by throwing the checklist over on the side here and go ahead and add those check marks of everything we've completed. And you'll notice a few of these we've gone ahead and checked off, but they're not exactly completed, right? We started them, they're close enough to completed, but there's a couple of them that I actually want to talk about just real quick, one of which being the side logos on the doors. So we've got it marked as completed, but I did go ahead and add in the black inside of the green, and I think that does make it look better. And then I had a great comment about adding some kind of drip marks, making this look hand-painted. In fact, I also had a comment about these being actual stickers, and they're not. This is actually paint. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to follow that first comment and give some drips, and then I'll probably sand back a few spots and chip back a few spots just to give it some wear, to make it look like and make sure it looks like paint and that it is paint and that it was a kind of a rush job done in an apocalyptic world of painting a logo on a side of a truck. So I'm going to still do that to the logos yet, but we'll leave it checked off because they're primarily done. Also, another thing that we checked off that wasn't completely finished were the tie-down hooks. I had printed them, so I went ahead and checked them as done, but today I went ahead and glued them up. I still got to paint them and weather them a little bit, but they're primarily done. We'll leave those check marks also. The big thing that I did do today, well, let's leave it in the back here. You can see the way I made the connection in the back here, I just did it with magnets. Now I've gone ahead and checked it off as it's done because for the most part it is done. All I need to do is go here and I'm going to paint them up. I'm going to paint the top magnets here the same color and weather it the same way as the cage, and the bottom ones like the bumper. I think it'll hide those magnets so we don't see them. But anyway, so that was the big one we did today. And in fact, here I can take the body off. So now the body's completely held with magnets. And the side rails here, the side rails hold it also. That's what kind of lines it up, and then the magnets hold it in place front and back. Now the big thing that I'm going to be doing, which I have not got done and we cannot check off yet, but that I started working through, is I need to get an interior built for this truck. A lot of things that's going to be added to this truck are going to be based off of the interior, like where the turret goes. So we got the 50 cal that's got to go in the driver or passenger side yet. We need an interior before we can install that, which that's going to determine where the front frame for the front window goes. So we need the interior to get the turret, to get the front frame. We need the interior to know where all the seating is going to be so that we can do the periscope system that's going to be going in for the driver and the gunner. So the point being is we need to get an interior in this truck before we can really move forward. So that's what I started doing. So I went through. I have a box of interior parts, which unfortunately, because I've been doing so many projects, is getting a little bit empty. But I did have a set of seats that I had 3D printed way back that I ended up not using in a project I had still laying around. I've got a dashboard out of a TF2. I think this was the original dash out of the Highway 1 project, I think. And I've got a steering wheel that we can use also. So I think that's a good start as far as parts that I won't have to make, at least, for the interior. But let me go and slide the truck over and we'll take a look here at exactly what the idea I have going for the interior so y'all can get an idea of what's going to happen. Let me pull the body off. All right, so the first thing I think I'm going to have to do is move all the electronics up front. So what I think I'll do is move the receiver and the ESC, and I'll just make a platform up front, like where the engine would be, move them up front. So that'll free up these spaces here for me to just put in platforms. I'm just going to build in platforms. The battery will be sitting here. I can build this into a center console, probably do some computers and electronics and real futuristic stuff in the center console. Simple platform. The seat on the driver's side is going to be in the back. somewhere around back in here, because the turret for the 50 cal is going to be somewhere up front where this receiver is now. It's going to sit somewhere in here. And then of course the gunner is going to be sitting back behind it. I'll put the dash in the body itself over here, and then we'll have a driver's seat up front. So the seats themselves are actually going to be staggered. There's going to be one basically back here and one kind of up front here. Which I think is kind of cool just to have them staggered like that. And then, of course, we'll have the 50 cal sitting where the passenger seat should be. And I think I'm going to keep it just that simple. Again, I'll build just basically, I think, a simple tunnel over top of where the battery sits, which will probably continue all the way out back into the cage to hide it back in the cage. Just a nice, simple tunnel. Here in between the seats, I'll probably put in some kind of computer-looking devices and things like that to make it look futuristic. I'll probably try to do some of the same thing to the dash. We'll try to digital up the dash from this TF2 to make it look more futuristic and more 3000 AD. Of course, we're going to have a video screen that's hanging kind of down in the middle from the periscope. There's basically just going to be a periscope up top. And when I say periscope, it's going to be a camera that the wires come down and then lead to a video monitor that's going to be sitting here that the gunner and the driver can use, because vision outside of, in fact, let me show you remind you of what the front windows kind of look like. There's not a lot of visibility out of this front window, especially for the driver. So I thought it'd be cool to have a video monitor here, kind of like today we use rear view cameras. Well, this will have a forward view camera, or actually a 360-degree camera, because I think the idea is that it can spin and turn all the way around. But anyway, so I got to do all that. That'll be going into the interior, but I need the base of the interior first before I can do any of this. So I think I'm going to work on that tonight. I'll have that completed tonight as far as the floor pans go. I'm going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and mount the turret, or start working on mounting the turret. I'm going to wait on mounting the seats themselves because I don't have the figures that are going to be used. So I don't have the characters, the figures we're going to be using for the stop motion characters we're going to be using in this series. I don't have them. So I don't know exactly where I need to place the seating just yet. So I'm going to wait to put the seats in, but I'm going to try to get everything else done as best I can this evening. So look forward to that tomorrow. Let me know if you have any ideas of what you want to see in the interior from a center console standpoint or other details, because I think there will be times that we'll have close-ups coming in on the interior. We want to get a close-up on the gunner or something like that. So the interior is going to show in the footage. So we're going to need some details in there. If you have any ideas that you'd want to see in the interior, let me know down in the comment section. In the intro, I mentioned we did something a little extra, so I wanted to bring you guys in on that. And what it is a detail for the city that we're going to be building. So just like we have to add details to the interior or to the exterior of the trucks, we also have a city, basically a full city block that I plan on building that needs to have all the details too of a future apocalyptic cyberpunk world. And so the first thing I built was something we're going to have a rundown grocery store. So a place where the people who live out in the city, the non-outsiders and the non-zombies, the people that are still living in the city, they're gonna have to get their groceries. So we need an old rundown grocery store. And out front of that grocery store, I thought we'd have a little ride for the kids. So basically, it's like an old duck ride that the kids bounce around on. Now, of course, it's worn down a little bit, and it comes complete with its own bird poop, and it's been tagged already by the outsiders. So yeah, this is what I think I'm going to go with for the outsiders logo. So the idea is not only it's an apocalyptic world with zombies, but then you also have the lawless people that have who live outside, that have not turned to zombies, but have turned lawless outside in the world. So you still have some people living in the city. There's a small police force that we'll talk about at a later time. But there's also the outsiders, which are basically the bad guys, I guess you can say. And this is the tag I'm going with. Let me know if you like it. I thought it looked kind of cool to have this little kids ride, and it's been tagged by the outsiders. Let everybody know that they're here. They've been there. But anyways, this is a little project I was working on. I thought details like this along the city block. So like if this is outside of a food market, an old rundown food market, and you can tell this used to be a kids ride. I'm thinking about doing another one. Maybe it's a turtle or something, but the spring's completely sprung and it's kind of laying over. I thought something like that might look good. But anyways, if you have ideas, details, little things like this, I know we already got a pretty good list of a lot of the buildings we want to be doing, like bars, and of course we'll be doing the food truck, the munitions food truck. We had a whole list of buildings that we're going to be doing, but we also need the details along the street. Something else that I was thinking for sure, we'll be putting manhole covers in the street and then leaving little gaps so that I can just use a smoke machine so a little bit of steam can be coming up as we drive by. You got steam coming up out of the sewers, stuff like that. So if you have any ideas of that sort too, those little details, for the city and that city block that's outside of the garage, let me know. Let me know what those ideas are down there. I need to start compiling a bunch of ideas because we got to get to work on this. We're running out of time. So let me know down in the comment section. Thanks for joining me for another daily update here in the garage. I really do appreciate all the support on this series. It's been amazing how much support I've got on this series. I really do appreciate it. And I don't know if you guys noticed in yesterday's episode, of course, if you haven't watched yesterday's episode, make sure and go check it out because there's a teaser trailer in there that gives the date of December 2020. That's when CCG 3000 AD is scheduled to come out, is in December during the holiday. So kind of running out of time. I got to get a move on, but don't worry. We'll get it done. We'll get it filmed. We'll get the first episode out in December. But if you haven't seen that teaser trailer, make sure and go check it out in yesterday's episode. Again, leave me those comments down in the comment section about what you'd like to see as far as the city goes or in the interior of the TRX-Z. Leave me those comments down below. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Keep up with all these daily updates, so hit that notification bell to keep up. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.